Hello everyone. This is just a short video to demonstrate a macro express macro that I just developed to deal with sequential file names when I'm working in SCORE. So let's assume that you have a bunch of sequentially named files, but you also have files that have been split into a top and to a bottom portion. My convention is that the top portion is an a.muse file and the bottom portion is a b.muse file. Now let's also assume that you've used the com command, the combine command in SCORE, to combine several files into one file. When you do that, you want to delete the upper file that has been read into the resultant combined file, and that can now result in a gap in the file sequence. But if you have an A and B files, that creates a problem. So I've done a quick directory read on files that I've given the extension .ggg to, and you can see here the sequence reads as follows: 001A, 002A, 003A, 003B. So this is a split file, top portion, bottom portion. Then 004A. Then there's another gap in the file sequence. 006A. That has a corresponding 006B file. And then there's another gap in the file sequence, and the last file is 008A. Now when you redo the sequence of the file names, you can't just rename them in sequential order, because what would happen is you'd have 001A, 002A, 003A, and then 004B, then 5A, 006A, 007B, and 008A. So you would lose the link between the A and the B files. And then that actually is not so easy to solve with standard name list utilities. So I've written my own macro to accomplish that for me now. I invoke that from my file menu. And in the file menu, I've placed it here: renumber files after file deletion. I get an instruction: this macro renumbers files to be sequential again in case some files have been deleted, for instance by invoking the com command and then deleting the superfluous files. You will be prompted for the first and last file of the files you wish to rename. This macro accounts for A and B files, where A is the top portion of a split file and B is the bottom portion. There's no provision for files whose root names do not end in either A or B. So this is something that really works with how I like to set up my file nomenclature. You may do things differently. So when I click on OK, File Explorer will open. The first thing it does, it recognizes what kind of file I have currently open. You can see up here it's 003a.muse. So it defaults to a .muse extension. But you can also indicate a different file mask or show all files in the current directory. So in this case, I'm going to indicate a new file mask, and I'm going to look for files that end with ggg. And then you'll be prompted for the first file. I'll select this one. And you'll be prompted for the last file, so I select this one. Then I get a display screen that shows me the batch file that will be executed. And you can see the contents right here. This is the content of this batch file. You'll also notice that I put a temporary thing in there called xxtempxx. That's simply so I don't inadvertently, by renaming files, overwrite other files with the same file name. But at the end of the batch file, you can see that this label is then removed once all files have been renamed. And that's all there's to it. So I click OK, and it's already done. So if I do a directory read now on .ggg files, it looks like this. Now, first of all, you notice that I've changed the extension will always be uppercase. That's what I prefer. But if I go through the list now, 001A, 001A, 002A, 002A, 003A, 003A, 003B, 003B, that hasn't been changed at all because there was no gap. 004A, 004A, but then there's a gap. 006A now becomes 005A. And 6B remains 5 in the root, but it's 005B, and then there's another gap, 008A, has now become 006, 006A. So this way I recognize what files end in A and which ones are at B, and they're all numbered to be sequential again. Thanks very much for watching.